Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including iconic tag team returning to WWE, is a top WWE superstar turning babyface, should WWE book Goldberg vs. Bron Breakker, former WWE name returning to the ring, is Nia Jax joining the Bloodline, Chris Jericho claps back, plus much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, let's hit the intro and get on to our first story. Our top story looks at the possibility of an iconic tag team potentially returning to WWE. This past weekend, the CW network posted a social media clip of NXT stars naming their dream opponents, and Tank Ledger stated that he wants himself and Hank to face the Dudley Boys. Bully Ray, who has a prominent presence on social media, quickly noticed the clip, and he seemed to be on board with the idea of him and Devon having a run in the NXT brand. Hey Devon, sounds like Hank and Tank need a 3D through a table. That would be perfect for the NXT brand, as with their new CW network deal, they are often having main roster stars such as Randy Orton and CM Punk appear, and a legendary tag team such as the Dudley Boys could be a great draw for the brand. The Dudley Boys have never formally retired, so we may be seeing the WWE Hall of Famer back on WWE TV in the foreseeable future. Is a top WWE star turning babyface? WWE live events are traditionally used to try out new matches and for WWE management to see how the crowd reacts. Last night at a WWE live event in Cardiff, WWE decided to book a Gunther vs. Chad Gable match for the world title, and they had Gunther work the match as a babyface. Could this be a hint of what's to come? And could WWE be planting the seeds for the Ring General to embark on a run as a babyface? If this is indeed WWE's plan, then a lot of drastic changes would need to be implemented to Gunther's presentation. He is established as being the most dominant heel on Raw, and for him to suddenly turn babyface would be tough for some fans to process. Gunther as a babyface does have potential, and it's likely something WWE may explore when Gunther eventually drops the world title, whenever that may be. Is Randy Orton forming a new stable? Randy Orton made a live appearance last night in Cardiff, and in order to take on the Bloodline, Orton recruited some new teammates. Orton teamed with former WWE Tag Team Champions DIY. Based on fan footage of the match, the trio worked incredibly well together, and it would be awesome to see this trio work together on screen. For the time being, WWE's resident Viper has his hands full, as Kevin Owens turned on Orton this past week on SmackDown, and Orton is firmly in the middle of the personal feud between Owens and WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. Is Bobby Lashley still AEW-bound? As we covered in yesterday's video, Bobby Lashley's AEW debut was scrapped at WrestleDream, as AEW believed that it may be lost in the shuffle. This has led to a ton of questions relating to what exactly is happening with the Almighty, and fans are wondering if Lashley is even officially signed. The always reliable Fightful Select have provided an update, and according to them, Lashley's debut is coming soon, and his planned pay-per-view debut would have seen him involved in an angle with Swerve Strickland. Based on early indications, Lashley was considered for the WrestleDream spot to debut, but it was decided against. When we asked about Lashley not being on the show, we were told considering that the likely debut would have resulted in Swerve being laid out or attacked, it's not likely two hometown beatdowns would have worked out well with the way the show ended. It was probably the smart move for AEW to make. WrestleDream had a loaded card, and it had tons of moments on the show that may have potentially overshadowed what is set to be a monumental debut. Are you excited for Lashley's inevitable AEW debut? Let us know in the comments below. Should WWE book Goldberg vs. Bron Breakker? Should WWE book an epic showdown between Goldberg and Bron Breakker? Well, former WCW president Eric Bischoff believes this would be a perfect retirement match for the former world champion. Speaking on his 83 Weeks podcast, Bischoff stated that using Goldberg to get someone over would be the smart move. I would be using Bill to help get somebody over, and I would look for an underdog. I'd look for somebody young, or I'd look for something that had a story to it. You could use Rick Steiner's son, Bron. They've done a good job of establishing the Steiner brothers since WrestleMania. Goldberg vs. Breakker would be a match that would no doubt lead to a ton of interest. With that being said, if WWE do deliver another Goldberg match, then it seems likely that they would follow through on the storyline with Gunther and book a match between the two. There may be some criticism towards this call, as Gunther doesn't really need to be elevated. After all, he is the world champion. Someone like Breaker, who is a young star and has only been on the main roster for a short period, could instantly benefit from working and defeating one of the most iconic names of the past 3 decades. If WWE go down this route, there is a ton of continuity and lore to explore, as Scott Steiner was one of Goldberg's arch rivals in WCW, and this could even see Scott and maybe Rick Steiner make a cameo appearance on WWE TV. Former WWE name returning to the ring? Most wrestling fans will know Ezekiel Jackson for being the final ever ECW champion and for being a member of the dreadful faction known as the Core. Jackson hasn't wrestled in several years, yet it looks like the former Intercontinental Champion is ready to make a return to the squared circle. Jackson informed fans over on X that they can see him in the ring again soon. Jackson looks to be in tremendous shape, so it'll be interesting to see what Jackson has planned for his in-ring return. It's unclear if WWE will have any interest in Jackson, as they already have a bloated roster, and Jackson may easily be lost in the shuffle. Jackson's best options are likely TNA, or even Tony Khan's Ring of Honor. Is Nia Jax joining the Bloodline? Is Nia Jax herself interested in entering the Bloodline saga? Well, since the storyline kicked off, there have been rumors that WWE could potentially add a female member to the faction, and now Jax herself has addressed these rumors, and Jax's comments will make for interesting disclosure. Speaking to the Daily Mail, this is what the current WWE Women's Champion had to say. It's only been discussed by fans. I definitely think that's an easy thing to go to, but I also know that the boys really support us in our journey, and they want us to be successful in our own right and pave our own path and create our own legacy. Jax continued by saying, if it does come down to where they need a little bit of our assistance, you know that we're going to be there without even a second guess. But right now, they're big fans of ours and what we're doing in the women's division, but like I said, if it's needed, we're going to be there. Jax inserting herself into the Bloodline drama would certainly freshen things up, as the Bloodline taking over the women's division is certainly territory WWE haven't explored yet. Do you think Jax joining the Bloodline is a smart move? Let us know in the comments below. John Cena joins Kai Cenat stream. WWE legend John Cena joined popular streamer Kai Cenat for a special stream last night. The two discussed a range of topics ranging from McDonald's new Chicken Big Mac to Cena's stance on the purpose of life. Chris Jericho claps back at fans. Our final story today looks at recent comments from Chris Jericho, who has officially clapped back at criticism from fans. In recent years, the work of Jericho and AEW has been heavily criticized, as a portion of the fan base have asked what Jericho truly brings to the product, and some have even called Jericho selfish. Speaking on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, this is what the former world champion had to say in relation to this common criticism. That's one of the things critics would say, oh, Jericho's selfish and blah blah blah, but that's how you get fans to understand who these guys are. I did it with Danny Garcia, I did it with Sammy Guevara, I did it with MJF, I did it with Orange Cassidy. Who are these guys? And then you work with them, and then people get more comfortable with who they are. Jericho continued by saying, my job is to just kind of stand obviously in the forefront because of just the name value and the legacy that I have, but the bottom line is to always make sure that those guys continue to grow and get ahead, and most importantly, get confidence. When you get confidence in this business, that's when you get great and you can handle any situation. There you have it, folks, the wildest news, stories, and rumors you need to know. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time, back for some more wrestling content.